Hey there. If you're an entrepreneur in South Africa and you're hunting for a business idea, one that's seriously in demand and has real room to grow, you've come to the right place. Today, we're not just talking about an idea, we're giving you the full blueprint to start your very own aluminum door and window manufacturing business. So, the real question is, are you ready to build something from the ground up? Because that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll walk through every single step together. All right, so here's our game plan, our blueprint for today. First, we'll look at the opportunity, why aluminum is such a big deal. Then, we'll get into the startup numbers, the real costs. After that, we're diving into the craft, the skills you need. We'll cover how to launch your workshop, and finally, how to build a brand that lasts. Let's jump in. Okay, first things first, the opportunity. Look, before you even think about investing a single rand, you've got to understand why. Why is aluminium suddenly everywhere? Why is it booming across South Africa? Let's break it down. It all boils down to this amazing combination of perks. First off, you've got that sleek, modern look that everyone wants for their homes and buildings. It's tough, super low maintenance, and this is huge for places like Durban. It's totally rust resistant. Then you throw in the fact that you can get it in all sorts of colors and designs, and it's great for keeping heat and noise out. Well, it's a no-brainer why it's the top pick for new builds and renos. And hey, the numbers totally back this up. We're not talking about some flat, boring industry here. Projections show solid, steady growth all the way to 2029. And did you see that? There's a pretty big jump expected in 2028, which tells you there's real momentum. You wouldn't just be starting a business, you'd be catching a rising wave. All right, let's move on to section 2, crunching those startup numbers. I know. This is usually the big one, right? The part that can feel a bit scary. So let's demystify it and break down exactly what that initial investment really looks like. So let's get right to it. The question everyone wants to know. What's the actual price tag to get this thing started? Let's look at some real numbers. Okay, let's check out this table. The good news? Starting lean is totally possible. You could snag your core machinery for as low as 15,000 rand. Then you add in setting up your workshop, your first batch of materials, getting registered, a little bit of marketing, and your total startup cost is somewhere between 40,000 and 130,000 rand. The main point here is you don't need a million rand loan to get this business going. Okay, so you've put in the initial cash. Now for the fun part. What kind of money can you make? Well, a standard window could sell for anywhere from 1 to 2,000 rand. A big one, maybe 3 to 5,000. And get this, that's just for the window itself. Installation can add another 1,900 to 3,100 rand per unit. That's a massive upsell opportunity right there. All right, let's switch gears. We've talked money, now let's talk about the actual craft, the hands-on manufacturing side of things. And hey, don't sweat it if you're not an expert right now. These are skills you can absolutely learn. So this process might look a little intimidating at first, but it's actually pretty straightforward. It all starts with extrusion, which is just a fancy word for shaping the raw aluminum. But here's the secret for a startup. You don't have to do that part. You can buy the profiles already shaped from suppliers like Wispaco or Alulux. This is a total game changer because it lets you focus on the important stuff, cutting, assembling, and finishing. It just makes getting started so much easier. And you know what? The skills you need are way more accessible than you might think. There are training programs out there. Some are literally just 1 day long that can teach you everything. We're talking reading architectural drawings, running the saws, understanding the little details like weep holes, which are super important for drainage, by the way. Getting that training isn't just about making a quality product, it's about building your reputation as a pro. Okay, moving on to section 4, launching your workshop. Let's talk about setting up your space. The motto here is simple, start small, but always think big. I mean, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? You absolutely do not need a giant factory from day one. So many successful manufacturers in South Africa got their start in a garage or backyard workshop. The big factory can be the dream for sure, but the journey, it starts with what you have right now. So if you're starting lean, what's essential? You'll need a good double miter saw, a corner crimping machine, and your basic hand tools. Now for the glass, here's a pro tip. Instead of buying a big cutting table right away, why not just partner with a local glazier? It's a super smart way to keep your initial cost down and make things less complicated. And then, of course, there's the legal stuff. Look, these steps are pretty straightforward, but you absolutely cannot skip them. You got to register your business as a PLTD Limited, get your trade license, and make sure you're following the SANS standards for quality and safety. This isn't just about ticking boxes, it's what makes you a legit, professional business that people can trust.
Okay, we're at our final section.
Building your brand and your legacy.
You've got the skills, you've got the workshop.
So, the big question is,
How do you get your name out there?
how do you stand out from the crowd and bring in those customers? This is where you really connect with people. Remember, you're not just selling pieces of metal and glass, you're selling a whole vision. So create those amazing before and after photo galleries online. Team up with local architects and builders. Offer warranties that build so much trust. And maybe even think about a niche, like that cool wood look aluminum, to really set yourself apart. It's all about selling peace of mind, saving people money on energy, and giving them that beautiful, modern design. And here's something really important to think about. This is so much bigger than just your own company. This entire industry supports thousands of jobs all across South Africa. So, by starting your own business, you're not just building a future for yourself, you're actually creating jobs and boosting the local economy. That's a powerful thing. I love this quote because it just nails the whole idea. Window manufacturing isn't just about frames and glass. It's about framing views, securing homes, and building legacies. That's the real goal, isn't it? To make a real, lasting impact. And that brings us right back to the beginning. We've gone through the whole blueprint. From the market opportunity to the startup costs, the path is clear. The demand is there. South Africa's skyline is literally waiting for your contribution. So, let me ask you one last time. Are you ready to construct your future?